Hey, welcome back. I hope you had a great 4th of July weekend, a long weekend. I hope you celebrated the greatest country on earth, 249 years. Next year will be, I don't even know what you call it. I remember, 1976 being the bicentennial, but we're fixing to hit up on 250. This week we are going to do motions in ORE. Because next week we've got trials, the week of July 14th. And so in Georgetown we're trying double murder if that catches. And we don't have a lot of cases because we were not in court last week. Would it be in July 4th? So kind of on a technical side, I wanted to talk with you about some trial rights. We get a lot of questions about this from time to time. And it's a hard concept to grasp. A lot of you watch court TV. You see, terms that may come up from time to time, and why are they doing all of that? Because what we try to do is to put forth a case in an order that makes the most sense. Just like if you went to a movie theater, I tell people all the time that only Quentin Tarantino with Pulp Fiction and some of the movies can jump from scene 6 to scene 2 and then back, but it takes you 2 or 3 times to watch it and you still don't know how it all fit together. It's an ingenious way of doing it, but what we do is a lot of times is from the beginning in chronological order to the end. To do that and to schedule witnesses, what we have to sometimes do is say, wait, if I'm going to put that witness up next, I've got to lay the foundation for that witness through the evidence that I want that witness to be able to put in. So I'm going to have to call other witnesses ahead of time, maybe a little bit out of order, so that this major witness can have all of the things that they need by the time that it comes in. And that is called laying the foundation, but it also involves chain of custody. And what we're really doing, the 10,000 foot view, is to show to the jurors that this evidence hasn't been tampered with, that this is truly reliable evidence. So you'll see it go down on court TV, or if you come to Conway in the courtroom, by us calling a series of 3 or 4 witnesses very quick. And one witness will come up and say, all right, what's your name? My name's Archie. Okay, Archie, what did you do? Well, I picked up this hammer that had blood on it, and I secured it. That's usually a crime scene guy. I secured it, and nobody tampered with it while it was in my control. And I put it in this bag, and then I put it in the trunk of my car, and I drove it to Horry County, M.L. Brown. All right, what happened at M.L. Brown? Archie handed it to Betty, A to B. All right, then I would call Betty, and she would be just as quick. Betty, what did you do? I came in, I work at M.L. Brown. Archie came up with a bloody hammer, and he handed me this hammer in a brown paper sack. I took it, and I put it in this sealable clear, sealable, looks like a Ziploc, except when you seal it, it seals in such a way that you can't open that bag without showing that you've opened the bag. You can't just pop it loose. It seals. And then right here you'll see where I wrote my name, Betty, across the seal. Is that your signature? Yeah. While you had this bag, before you put it, while you had this hammer, but before you put it in the bag, did anybody touch it or mess with it in any way? No. I got it straight from Archie out of his trunk, and I put it in this, and then I sealed it. Do you know anything about the murder? Nope, nothing at all. All I know is that Archie brought me a hammer with blood on it. Okay. What did you do with the bag? I put it on shelf A. Who can go to shelf A? Well, only Carl, C. Carl is working in Shelf A, and I called Carl up, and Carl says, you know, I've worked there for 15 years. I don't know nothing about no murder, but I do know that Betty came in with a sack, and it was sealed, and Betty's name was on it, and she handed me the bag. You know anything about the crime? Nope, nothing about the crime scene. All I know is I got a sealed envelope. What did you do with it? Did anybody bother it while it was in your custody? Nope. I took the sealed bag and I put it on, I assigned it a number, and I put it in a little cubby hole. Who can come into that part of the police station? Me and 2 other people. We've got keys. Other cops can't come in. All right, what did you do with it? I put it in the cubby hole, and then a month later, I pulled it out of the cubby hole and I handed it to Davin D. And Davin, I put him on the stand. Davin, what did you do? I drove that to South Carolina Law Enforcement Division in Columbia. Do you know anything about the murder? Nothing at all. Do you know that so-and-so did or didn't do the murder? I ain't never even heard of so-and-so. I don't know nothing about it. I know that I took a Ziploc bag that couldn't be tampered with from M.L. Brown to SLED. And if you think about it, and it goes on because you got to go through all the people at SLED, but if you think like a chain, that may be a little easier to understand. But I'm linking this chain together so that the jurors can know by the time the doctor at SLED comes in and starts telling you the probability of this being anybody but Zebulon is 1 in 14 quadrillion. That's what we're putting all of that chain in to show that nobody changed it. Now think about it. Nobody could change it, right? Because whatever that doctor's reading, it either is or isn't Zebulon. He don't care. He don't know him. But we're putting all of that together because a foundation has got to be laid to show that nothing was tampered with. There is a case out there called Hatcher, and this really, it's got us in purgatory a little bit. But Hatcher is the rule, that you don't have to put up every chain. That's why we seal the bag in a way that can't be tampered with. Because really we could skip from the person that put it in the bag all the way up to the doctor that tested it and really get away with saying the bag was sealed. I don't know nothing about it except that the bag was sealed. And that should be enough. And that's what Hatcher says. Supreme Court of South Carolina case. That you don't have to put all of that. Man, we're putting up 13 witnesses. I mean, real simple stuff. That's what Hatcher says. But Hatcher also says it's the judge's discretion. So depending on which judge you get, he may say, I ain't wanting to hear about Hatcher. I want every person, and we're still doing it like we did in 1950 when a judge says that. Now, the prosecutor's got to kind of know that ahead of time because I got to figure out what all witnesses I got to bring in. So it really comes back to a personality, and that ain't really how the law should work. Hatcher, in any other state, should be whatever Supreme Court says goes. There's nothing to argue about anymore. Hatcher says what Hatcher says. We're all going to, could you imagine a football game if holding was sometimes improper, but sometimes it's proper? It depends on whatever referee you got. It'd be a messed up game. Well, we've got the best system in the world, but it's also an imperfect system. And I think, if, in all honesty, even the defense attorneys would tell you, I wish that there would be some certainty where if Hatcher is Hatcher, we learn to deal with it. If the DUI law is now 0.08, it ain't 0.09, it ain't 0.1, it ain't 0.07. Whatever it is, and we'll work around that. That's, I'm not complaining, but that's some of the stuff that we have to deal with, and that'll get you through watching court TV as to why they're doing what they're doing. One other thing, and I'll leave you with this. If the evidence is fungible, or in layman's terms, changeable, or not easily identified, like blood, it is a much stricter chain. If we're just talking about the hammer and not the blood, the hammer that's got your dad's initials on it, I could come in and say, that's my dad's hammer, that's his initials, he initialed all of them. Now the chain has been complete. But if you've got fungible or changeable or not identifiable type stuff, you can't look at blood and say, this is so-and-so's blood. You got to test that. If it's that, it causes a much stronger chain. So that's a little nerdiness from what you deal with in the courtroom, but maybe it helps you when you are trying to figure your way out through some of these shows. Be back next week, and if there's a topic that you want to discuss, send it in the comments and we'll try to get to it.